Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Azaka here, bringing to you another video for Conqueror's Blade, published by Porus Interactive, and this is going to be a PTR update. So, as you know, we are in the second part of the PTR, and this will be for the new shield and spear weapon coming. Plus, we get to finally test out the Spartan Chosen Tier 5 for the season of Sparta. So, this PTR update also comes with a housekeeping change. So, just give me 2 seconds as they have removed it. Oh man, I should have found this before I started doing this. There we go. Holy cow, man, that took forever for some reason. Sorry for that. Let's change over now. Okay. There's been a little bit of adjustment for the Laconic Javelins, and the adjustment is the javelins from long range throw can penetrate one additional target, with the damage of the second hit reduced by 30%. Update the effect of the exclusive doctrine Laconic Javelins Precision Throw. The new effect is... Oh, the new effect is long range throw increases shield breaking efficiencies against small shield units by 50%. Now, that's probably my mistake. The animation, performance, and gameplay experience of the long-range throw have been optimized. So, those are the changes for the Laconic Javelins. They're actually in a really strong position now. The Javelins are significant enough to actually be of note. Problem is that they come with usability issues, so at the end of the day, really strong throw, not strong enough. If it was any stronger, we will be heading into territories where it might become OP. But the range and the distance, plus the damage and the cooldown, they're in an adequate position where I think people will, if they're strong enough for people to use them, but they're still be niche for so that not everyone would be trying to use them. Oh well, besides the whole aiming thing. Moving on to what really counts. Give me 2 seconds. The new weapon. Okay. So, some of these things might not actually be working properly, but this is the white paper for this is the current white paper that we have access to, and this is what it says. So the new weapons feature Iron Wall Shield. So while in defense, possesses front-facing immunity to control effects such as guard breaks, knockbacks, and knockdowns. Additionally, block value consumption is significantly reduced, capable of performing normal attacks while maintaining the defensive stance. Uh, Attack combo. Normal attack consists of 4 stages. The final stage, the Spartan Thrust, is immune to flinching, deals significant damage, and generates rage. Now, flinching in this case is daze, which, honestly, I'm not sure why all hero attacks are not immune to daze. Mostly because I think the getting daze locked as a hero is probably the worst chain in the game that's really easy to do by all classes. If you've ever been just like getting smacked around because apparently the days just kept going, nah, I'm not letting you do anything. I've been knocked out of quite a few hero abilities just from days, which is, again, inconsistent sometimes, but super annoying. I once got knocked out of a ultimate ability just from a daze, but I think that was some kind of rubber banding. Continuing on, add a defensive sidestep or sprint attack. Clicking the left mouse button will immediately trigger the Spartan Thrust. Certain skills, when released, will increase the stages of normal attack, following for a quicker release of the Spartan Thrust. Dodge counterattack. So, just gonna try to make sure you guys can see. 2 dodge methods, rolling and sidestepping. Generally, rolling is used, but in a defensive stance, sidestepping will be used instead. During a sidestep, the character maintains a defensive stance. Rage burst. When successfully blocking enemy attacks or attacking enemies, a certain amount of rage is accumulated, while blocking will accumulate more rage. Once the rage reaches a certain amount, it transforms into fury. The ultimate Spartan kick consumes 1 fury with each use. Ranged harassment, able to use the skill spear throw for ranged harassment while on foot or horseback. Then we have weapon skills, normal attacks. Again, consists of 4 stages, with the final stage being the Spartan Thrust, which is immune to flinching, deals higher damage, and generates more rage. Um, Apparently they like repeating a lot of stuff. Spartan Shield, counterattack and control, consists of 2 stages. The first stage grants a brief invincibility. Hang on, invincibility? I don't remember that. That would also explain some shenanigans. And the second stage allows a shield strike that causes stun. Successfully blocking with the first stage attack can increase the blocking value recovery speed. So, I'm not sure about the brief invincibility, but the Spartan Shield first ability, kind of like counterattack, is a 2-stage shield bash, and the first stage will block attacks. I'm not sure if the second one does. Um, it feels like it doesn't, but I'm not entirely sure. Then we have Spartan Damage, Area Damage. The names for these are also different. Consists of 2 stages. The first stage involves a forward charge that slightly knockbacks units. It's just a knockback. I don't know why they put slightly. The second stage is a spinning sweep that knockbacks enemies. I'll tell you right now, the hitbox on this attack, not working. Or not working right. Because it can't hit that many people. It doesn't. It's a sweep attack, but it can't hit. New weapon skills: spear, throw, range harassment. While on foot, hold the skill key to aim during aiming. You are in a defensive stance. Release the key to throw the spear, using it for ranged harassment during standoffs and to finish off fleeing enemies. While on horseback, holding the right mouse button to aim. Similarly, you can use the spear throw for range attacks. It says right mouse button. No, it is a skill. I think they wanted the right mouse button to be a throw, so I'm actually thinking that I shouldn't have read out this white paper, but I'm going to continue anyway because a lot of stuff in game is very much different. So we have the Spartan Kick, strong control and area damage. Performs the Spartan Kick to forcefully kick enemies in front. The kicked enemy will experience different effects based on what they collide with. If they collide with a wall, they stop being knocked back, receive additional damage and stunned effect. If they collide with any enemy heroes / units, they stop being knocked back. The collided enemy will also be knocked back and take some damage. Now, I actually forgot that that was a thing, and I didn't actually test the um, wall collision part. That's something that I might need help with, or um, I'll just leave it for now because I have lost my testing partner. Anyway, you saw these two units, Laconic Javelins. I'll briefly go over those guys when we see them again. But anyway, obviously we have the new Tier 5 unit, the Spartan Chosen, Iron Wall Shield, Defense and Counterattack. Apparently it's going to be parts of its special traits. But elite soldiers wielding spears and unique Spartan shields, boasting formidable defensive capabilities. They can build momentum when dealing or receiving damage, and upon reaching full momentum, they unleash a powerful counterattack. Complete the counterattack to unleash their true power. After releasing the skill, the final damage taken is reduced, and any damage received by any unit members will be shared among all members. This is only during skill, by the way. Now, with that out of the way, white paper out of the way, let's actually look at the PTR in its glory. Now, there are a lot of things I need to say about... Oh man, I pressed the wrong button. The hero. It is medium armor. And these are still probably being updated. But essentially, shield counter, unyielding sweep, penetrating strike, and Spartan kick. Then you got some other basic stuff, side adjust, so it changes your roll into the side step for the shield. You also have defense, shield defense and attack. You got the divine drop. I don't know why they call it divine drop. It's literally exactly like the short sword and shield dismount. And penetrating strike mounted version, actually different cooldowns. So you can use the penetrating strike while mounted, and then dismount and use the penetrating strike. Whether or not that's going to be useful for anyone, I think that like people who master this class is going to use kind of use a tech in order to do a double spear throw, just to be sure that someone's going to die. These things also have a lot of additional effects, so continuing on for the shield counter. Bonus damage, multiplier, that's probably shown in the thing. Multiplier. Increase blunt damage multiplier. The final thing here, well, these nodes are probably the more important stuff, but I just gonna double check these things. The second hit of shield counter increases the damage the enemy takes by 20%, lasts for 4 seconds. Definitely a scenario where you kind of want to shield counter someone because it causes stun. And it's also your remove crowd control, which again, kind of like a double up, so it's on a long-ish cooldown, 16 seconds, so. Then you have unyielding sweep, all bonuses and stuff. Blah blah blah. Reduce the cooldown by 2 seconds, and the second strike receives 6,000 critical value. We also have penetrating strike. It's not very good. It only hits 1 unit, by the way. It doesn't penetrate like for Christ's gift for the spear. It'll only hit one unit. The amount of damage it deals to a single target is actually not that impressive. And successful penetrating strike hits return 2-second cooldown, 2 seconds of cooldown time. Now, there is a reason why there are 2 Spartan kicks, because this one has enemy knockback will deal X amount. This one's bugged. Blah, 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 blah. And enemies that knockback will receive an additional 1,500 damage when upon hitting a wall. Actually haven't tested that. I do wonder how effective that will be. Then we have shield defense. I don't know why that's 0 set for, weirdly. Block value. Then you have block value received reduced by 20%. And then you gain extra rage for when blocking. Then you have shield stance. Gain 20% increased, which is weird because it goes from 10 to 12, if that's reading correctly. And ignores collision when stepping, adjusts to left, right, or backwards. So, not forward, so you can't phase through stuff. That is the skills for the spear and shield. The shield and spear here. I don't know why they made it shield and spear. It should have been spear and shield, but you're going to try to get used to that. Now, on to the unit itself. Obviously, we have the general leadership. We have the Splendor of Bloodshed. Leadership is reduced by 10 points for during the season. During the Sparta season, leadership requirements are reduced by 10 points. Impregnable Defense. All damage received by the unit builds momentum for the warriors. Attacks and kills during No Mercy rapidly accumulates momentum. Once this momentum is fully charged, the charging backlash skill can be used. Again, I don't know who's doing the translation for this one, but someone else did the unit traits from the actual unit skills, so that is a worry. We also have Heroes on Blood. Spartan Chosen restores 4% of their maximum health each time they hit an enemy. When their health falls below 30%, the healing amount doubles. During any active skill duration, the unit takes 70% reduced final damage, and any damage taken by a member is shared among all members. Okay, this might seem strong. This is not what the actual effect is. What I understand the effect to be, because I had a friend translate the Chinese for me, this reduces the final damage to 70%. So what it's supposed to say is that it reduces damage by 30%. So this reduces damage by 30%. And this, I believe, only active during skill. And obviously you have any damage taken by a member is shared among all members. So, done. That is Loyal Oath. We have the Disperse formation, the Shield formation, the Shield transformation. Now you will notice that this is called Ruthless, this is called Charge Counter. As you'll notice with Impregnable Defense, No Mercy doesn't exist, Charging Backlash doesn't exist either. No Mercy, I assume, is supposed to be Ruthless, and Charging Backlash is supposed to be Charge Counter. But anyway, Ruthless, the Spartan Chosen first stab the enemy in front of them, then swing their spear forcefully to cause heavy damage. Each hit restores 5% of their lost health. Base cooldown time 20 seconds. Base duration 7 seconds. Charge counter. After activation, The Spartan Chosen enters a counter-attack stance. In this stance, they advance with Rhythmic Thrust. Knocking back enemies, recasting the skill within a specific time will trigger a shield strike, knocking down enemies after the advance end. They leap and perform a heavy thrust, dealing high damage. Each successful shield strike boosts the final damage thrust by 50%. Cooldown is 30 seconds, duration 20 seconds. You'll notice why the duration is so long, and of course, it costs a resource. Now, I don't particularly like the Spartan Chosen, but we'll come to that when we head to the gameplay and discussion section. Now, these are its basic stats. As you can see, it boasts an impressive 16,594. Do mind that I do have veterancies unlocked, so these aren't base stats at level 30. Strength of 28, leadership of 295, a beat of 5.3. Pretty slow nowadays, though it's not as slow as other heavy shields. I mean, I think it's 4.9 for the Imperial Spear Guards and 5.2. No, 5.2 for Spear Sergeants. I think 5.9 is the same for Stalwarts, actually. Maybe I'll check. I don't really care about labor. Not that you would ever want to use them for labor. Piercing penetration, pretty low, 1,111. Slashing armor penetration, even lower at 960. Blunt armor penetration at 1,520. Piercing damage at 1,420. Slashing damage at 930. Blunt damage at 1,070. I have no idea how they calculated these things, but we don't know what the particulars are on each attack. They've got a wide variety of attacks, especially during their basic attacks. It's hard to say what attack deals what, but we get rough estimates for things, so yeah. What is not very impressive is the piercing defense at only 487, slashing defense at 570, blunt defense of 415, block of 1,770, and a recovery of 50. We believe this is a second, so it'll take around about 21 seconds, or 22 seconds technically, to fully recover their block. Now, the one thing that I really am confused about is why they have such high health and no defenses. This would have better been a larger unit with basic health of, let's say, 12,000, or more defenses, because I'll assure you there are plenty of units in this game that deal so much damage that 16,000 health is basically nothing. I mean, take example of the Zwanji Heavy Cavalry. One swipe from them deals like 3,500 to 6 units, and that's pretty much enough to kill 1.5 of these guys with a single swipe. So their paper for armor means that they have to use a skill during them getting attacked, but I'll show you, they will still die. Moving on to veterancies, we have health increase by 3%, vulnerability when breaking defenses by 5%, 2 times. This is block breaking related. Again, it used to be called armor pierced. Bleed effect while armor pierced. It's like a whole bunch of translation related stuff, but just need to understand that how I and people I talk with just think this is supposed to work is that the bonus damage that units receive when they get block broken is reduced by 10%, or the damage is reduced by 10%, that kind of thing. Each level reduces Ruthless cooldown by 1 second 3 times. We also have Hero on Blood damage reduction by 5%. What I've been told, this is not what it does, and instead it's supposed to say increase the healing effect by 200 points. 3 times makes it 600. Not that great. 4% healing plus 600 basically ends up being about 1200. The heal, not good to say the very least. It's not as strong as you would think. We also have units armor piercing by 3%. This could affect all of them. I'm not entirely sure. Ruthless damage by 3% 3 times. Increase the number of enemies each soldier can attack with a normal strike by 1. I'm not sure if it affects all of their attacks, whether or not it's during basic attack, in formation, and the final thrust attack after charge counter. Those are kinds of things that I haven't figured out. Blunt armor penetration by 30 points 3 times. Charge counter can now target +1 enemies, and their name becomes Spartan Chosen Landslide Force. For bottom line, we have unit health increased by 3% 3 times. Units received range damage. Each level reduces units received range damage by 5% 3 times. Each level increases block value by 40 3 times. We have increases block recovery rate by 30% 3 times. Damage received during the duration of charge counter by 5% 2 times. And we have each level reduces damage taken from rear attacks by 5% 3 times. All types of defense by 2. Increase all types of defense by 2%. This is actually garbage, considering that they how little armor they have. But logistically speaking, this is probably closer to about a 1, maybe a 1.3, if I'm being generous, % increase each time. Though it's still something. Not good. And then during Loyalty Oath, the damage taken is reduced by 20%. Which gives them a total of 50% damage reduction if we're talking about how things work. Honestly, if they had 50% damage reduction the entire time, I would not notice a difference. That's how much damage flies around. But maybe I'm being a little facetious. But that is the veterancies. We'll move on to the doctrines. Easy. I put them on just so you can see. Increase base movement speed by 6%, so it's Spartan Chosen Forward March. Spartan Chosen Mountain Crusher. Increase the block breaking value and damage during charge counter by 15%. Spartan Chosen Divine Wrath. When the Spartan Chosen are fully enraged, their normal and formation attacks can knock down enemies. So that is all. We will now head on to the gameplay part. I will demonstrate everything I know about the hero class and the unit, and then I'll have basically this whole thing's unscripted, but
units,
basically
assemble.
I will
Deploy
just
quickly.
go on an open
Formation.
discussion on kind of my view on things. I really do not like how things are working so far. Thank you.
Form up.
Can I kill them before they make it here? Okay. That's that. Now, let me move over to an area where it's okay. So, as you were seeing me doing, these are the basic attacks. Thrust, shield bash, sweep, Spartan thrust. Obviously, if you roll... Oh. Never mind. Not what I thought was going to happen. But, if you block, and then you jump... There we go. So blocking, dash... sidestep will do the Spartan thrust. So the Spartan sidestep is slightly longer by like 0.2. I would say 0.2. The two-part shield bash, so we are using the shield counter. It is also your recovery skill. Now, I do want to kind of demonstrate
Get into
something.
position.
Oh, and finally, the throw. It pulls to the left, and it's a little bit high, personally. And finally, the kick. Now, I'm guessing you probably already heard, but the sweeping section of the unyielding sweep is kind of annoying because it doesn't hit how you think it should. As you can see, not really great. Now, another thing that's been completely glossed over is the ignoring collision part. I don't remember where I saw this, but oh no, it's in the thing. So yeah, the healing I'm getting is actually from the epic armor set, which should be changed if I'm not wrong. As you can see, both of the shield counter and unyielding sweep both have block while attacking. Well, the first one does. Well, the first stage of it does. Not sure if the second one does. As you can see, it only hits one. If I could hit multiple, if these guys would have survived, they would have been kicked right through. This kick causes a throw that is so stupidly massive that it's not even funny.
Attack! Yes, Captain.
Oh, whoopsie daisy.
Arm up! Faster! As you command! Units!
Oh
assemble!
no.
Yes, Captain. Quickly now!
Maybe I should have just done it.
Attack at will! To the death! Advance! Get moving!
Oh, and I forgot. So, again, not the right click. The right click is just the shield. One of the things which is interesting is you cannot aim with the spear and shield. You either attack left or you attack right, which is interesting. I honestly don't know how to feel about that.
Oh!
We have the same throw. I think the throw angle is limited around about here? Yeah, 90-degree angle. Sorry, perfectly 90-degree angle, that's limited. As you can see, it doesn't actually share a cooldown with the one that you do on foot, so you can, if you're really good, you can throw both of them. Alrighty. Now, on to the Spartan Chosen. Oh, sorry. No, not on Spartan Chosen yet. I've totally forgot. Now, there are combos, which are interestingly enough. First one is the dismount will enter the sweep attack. So basically what's happening is these three skills will skip to... if you try to do a basic attack right after them, they will skip to the third basic attack stage. So the dismount went into the sweep, the shield bash will go into the sweep. And this one's really bad, but the unyielding sweep will also go into the sweep, but as you can see, there's a massive delay for that. Unfortunately, again, you can just do... fortunately for the unyielding sweep, you can actually just buffer a running attack because it's weird. For the shield bash, you actually have to wait a second instead of buffering a thrust attack, which is kind of strange. Since, like, I don't know why they have it like that, when realistically it should just go straight into the thrust attack anyway. But you have to be sprinting in order to do the thrust attack version. Otherwise, you'll do the sweep. So, that is that out of the way. We now get to look at the Sparta's
might.
Your unit is retreating.
All troops form up.
So, look is deceiving. They look tiny, honestly. But if they were standing and stuff, they're actually not that small. It's just heroes being so big.
With the king, we move forward.
Follow me. Shields up.
But yeah, they are average-sized units when they stand up straight. When they duck down like that, makes them look really small.
Form up.
It's a unit of 28, and it does look like they have the updated model. So they look like banner guards. So they kind of look like banner guards in terms of like kind of sizing. So that's their dispersed formation, not very dispersed.
Quickly now.
Shield formation.
Forward march.
And
All
shield
troops
strength
form up.
formation.
Advance. Yes.
All very cool, very cool. Now,
Fall in.
Wars are called.
Stand to.
actually, you should
Quickly
do
now.
this with basic enemies first.
All troops form up. Form up.
March with
They have a
the king.
Fall
very
in.
powerful
March.
basic attack mode.
Attack.
So there's
Blessed
several
by our
series of what they do, but it's really cool. They're honestly really good in melee.
Quickly now. All
As you
troops
can see as
form
well,
up.
you can see
Move
that charge
out.
bar charge all the way up.
Stand to.
But maybe I will put them
Form up.
against things a little bit tougher
Quickly
with
now.
just to
All
demonstrate
troops
how
form up.
strong their basic attack really
Fall
is.
in.
Do mind that
Attack.
these are not.
War.
This is
War,
just basic
war.
attack. It's hard to see as well, mostly because, like, the game loves to have no collision, and so when units start stacking up on each other, it's actually very hard to see. But I hope that kind of demonstrates the power these guys have with their basic
Form
attack.
up. With the king.
Um,
Now.
though I might want to say, they're not actually any good. Meta-wise, they're definitely stronger than the average unit, but they're not meta.
All troops form up.
king.
Oh man, that's gonna
Quickly
bite
now.
me in the ass as well.
Shields up.
Everyone's just like,
Fall in.
phalanx mid, bro.
Stand to.
Yeah, because I call them
moving.
phalanx
Form
mid.
up.
Now, oh,
Stand
yeah, I can
to.
just dry fire this one.
Attack. This.
So they'll do that Spinneroonie formation. So, There's two parts to this. There's the attack part of this,
Attack!
Sparta
which is you see that spin thrust,
invincible.
and then the forming part. The bad thing is that the formation part depends not on activation,
Attack!
Witness
but
the
on
rise
the
of
moment
Sparta.
you move. It depends on the position, it depends on the orientation of your camera when the skill switches to forming up. This is worse than the gray hair garrison problem. Although the gray hair garrison one being on activation is actually much better. Now,
All troops
there
form
are
up!
a lot of issues with this
Quickly now!
concept,
Move out!
mostly because they do not defend themselves properly while moving into formation. That's the same with gray hair garrisons, except that they tried to fix that. It's still buggy. There's a lot of weird, like, unreliable hitboxes for their attack, and
Fallen!
I'm not sure how to do anything. Now,
Form up!
Advance.
the formation is always going to be shield. It does
Quickly
not
now.
dependent on what you are. You can be in
Attack at
disperse,
will.
use the ability,
Sparta is
form shield.
invincible.
Be in shield,
Stand to!
Raise shield.
be in shield, use the ability,
Attack!
This
they'll
is
form shield.
Sparta.
All troops form up!
Shields up.
Shield tron,
Yes.
use the
Attack!
ability,
Witness
They'll
the
form
rise
shield.
of Sparta.
obviously.
All troops, advance!
March.
Technically another formation. Not that.
Attack!
This looks like
Sparta
actual disperse
is
formation, but yeah.
invincible.
They'll form shield. Not a very good ability.
Fallen!
Now, on to
March.
the next
Quickly
one.
now!
I'm going
Form up!
to let them dry fire a little bit. So,
Attack!
smash into the unit.
This
Make sure you're facing the right direction as they
Sparta.
form up, otherwise it will look weird. But as you can see, they get stuck.
Attack!
So,
Witness
I
the
honestly think
rise
just put them on
of
attack
Sparta.
mode.
Enemies will
If you're trying to be aggressive.
fear.
They're really good in their basic attack. They're not exactly weak, to say the very least. A lot of attacks, all of their attacks will miss though.
Stand
Alright.
to!
So,
All troops
Now-
form up!
this is not formation dependent, but I'll be honest, it
Fallen.
looks the best
Keep moving.
in disperse formation. As you can see, you get this targeting reticle. So, we'll just charge forward for now.
Advance!
Oh, for some reason that decided to bugger out. And you must press the ability again in order to get the shields, and then they'll do a running stab attack for the final. It's
Form
honestly
up
a
with the
really
king.
cool concept.
Quickly now!
In battle, absolutely worthless. And
Fallen.
you'll see
Forward
why.
march.
Because of the rage mechanic,
Form up!
you have to...
Attack at will!
Oh man, this
Sparta
has a really
is
short aggro range.
invincible.
Attack!
Fight
Just beat him up again.
Conqueror.
Attack!
This is
Attack at will!
Foes tremble before Sparta.
Now, this might make it really strong, but do mind, these are stalwarts at a level 1.
All troops
They're
form
not,
up!
they don't deal that much damage.
Stand to!
War is our calling.
Most people will
All
probably
troops
use
form
the
up.
shield formation or
Forward.
anything. But, anyway. This seems to be
All
unblockable.
troops, advance!
And then they'll switch to the final one. That final thrust attack deals something like 6,000 damage. I'm not entirely sure whether or not it's multi-hit, but it is a good amount of damage. Unfortunately, it's not a lot of damage when we're talking about meta units.
Quickly now.
The CC is good, but it's unreliable at best because every single meta unit will either ignore it or has
Form
recovery
up!
from
The
CC.
king, we move forward.
Well, basically anything that doesn't ignore it will still get CC'd, so it will be reliable against those. Anything that ignores CC be a big problem. So, as you will probably notice
Stand to.
with what you would want to
All
do
troops form up.
is kind of
Sparta is invincible.
getting into the enemy. The enemy will damage you for a bit, and then you would bash through them. Again, the stalwarts make them look really strong, but as you can see, I didn't finish off the unit, and I'm walking right past them. It's one of the biggest
Quickly
gripes
now.
of the unit.
Wars are called.
Fall in.
Keep
And
moving.
Form up.
Move
It's... I'm not sure if anyone can really say anything about it, but it's bad. Like, really awkward. So not only do you
Quickly
need...
now.
You don't have
March.
access to it straight away. You need to take damage first in order to get your damage ability. Well, they're supposed to be tanky. I'll tell you right now, they are tanky. Against meta, though, they're still paper. Do I want them to be tanky? Yes, but how tanky can something be? These things have 16,000 health, which, honestly, that's about 50% more health than any other infantry. I mean, okay, maybe not every other infantry. There's definitely the Orochi Samurais that get the 14,000, which is pretty respectable. These guys, theirs have heal. This guy's has heal. These guys have a big shield. Those kinds of things. And I've probably just gone straight into the discussion part, but the unit is paramount. Absolutely paramount. You didn't make a really good unit because it's terrible to use.
Stand to.
Because how you want to
All
use them
troops form up.
is literally not anywhere near where you would predictably use this unit. It's
Attack.
basically a shock trooper.
Witness the rise.
You get in,
of
you
Sparta.
slap people.
Attack.
I don't know why you hold in formation. I don't want to hold in formation. Just put them straight on attack mode.
War.
Stand
War.
to. Quickly now.
Raise shields.
Form up.
Keep moving.
Oh boy,
Fall in.
I'm gonna go into a fight.
Quickly now.
I'm not gonna hold position. I'm gonna go straight at him.
All troops.
Bam!
Advance.
Kabam! And then finally, go for the thrust.
Stand
The
to.
king. We move
All
forward.
troops form
Shields
up.
up.
Stand to.
It might feel, it might look,
Fall in.
and seem
March.
good.
Form up.
It's a terrible unit.
War is our
Quickly now.
calling.
There is,
Stand to.
it's not a defensive unit
For war.
at all. It's got defensive skills and stuff, things that are really
Attack at
cool,
will.
like
Sparta is
everyone
invincible.
sharing health
Attack.
while the skill is being used. That is honestly crazy good. I've been hit by a Yan Yu now, and it did just enough damage to perfectly have every single one of my unit down to red health. And then the next one killed everything.
Form up.
Move out.
All troops form up.
Advance.
I
Fall in.
think
All troops form up.
you can
Keep
salvage
moving.
this unit. I do not believe it's in a good position. And that's another thing
Quickly
as
now.
well. Their basic attack causes daze. Not against heroes, though. but their basic attack causes
Stand
daze,
to!
even in formation.
Forward march!
So I'm going to kind of
Form
give
up!
my final thoughts about this. How I've experienced the spear and the shield and spear hero, it's a fun class. Honestly, like you do the bash, you do the kick, and then you finish off with the spear throw. That's kind of what you want to do. You could literally do a nice combo where you go knockdown, sweep, bash, shield bash. I mean, not the spear throw, the kick then spear throw kind of thing. Or you could do the dismount. Yeah. Sorry, not the dismount. What I wanted to do was like you're running up, you do a spear throw, bash. Obviously, I would have swept him instead. Thrust, shield bash into another sweep, right? And finally, kick. It's cool. Like the comboing is cool because because the kit feels like it wants to flow. It feels like it wants to flow from one attack to the other.
Oh!
It's a really cool fluid class that's more responsive than any of the other classes. Like you want to use your basic attack because it is part of your kit, and these are probably like if Nodachi didn't have bonuses for his basic attack, it would be equal to Nodachi. It's better than Short Sword's basic attacks, kind of. Like, the only classes that have basic attacks that are just stupid good, Dual Blade and Chain Dart. Like, those two classes are have good basic attacks. First and foremost, because it moves them forward.
Hey!
Secondly, they're fast and they do a lot of damage. These things, not so much. Not so much. And it will become apparent that it really struggles against units. There's like no unit capability. It's honestly a 1v1 kind of dueling class. As for the Spartan Chosen, like I said with the Laconic Javelins and the Helot Auxiliaries, they're units that are not in a place that can compete with the meta. These guys, however, the Spartan Chosen, they're strong enough to basically murder non-meta units. Units that are in the okay-ish area. They will slaughter them. Particularly against Phalanx as well, they'll slaughter Phalanx. Paladins, they'll do okay. Paladins could still win. Easily Paladins could still win. There are ways you can get this unit to beat Paladins, but it's a little finicky because, again, it all revolves around your charge counter. The limitation of the charge bar, the really bad restriction of them just advancing for 20 whole seconds. Not great. The leap attack. It's the best source of damage, but it takes so long to get to. It takes 20 seconds to get to. I mean, their charge counter shove thing is probably better damage than their final thrust attack. And again, ruthless. You don't want to go into formation. It forces you to go into formation.
Fall in!
Like,
Attack!
I have no idea why they would do this.
Sparta!
You don't want to go into formation because, honestly, the only reason you would go in formation is that you're trying to defend against something when realistically you're using a skill to get in to the enemy. So you're going to form up inside the enemy,
Sparta!
as you saw before on the swords. That causes a lot of issues.
All troops form up!
Every single time, every unit does the same thing. It doesn't do anything when it's moving towards the enemy. It tries to go through, can't go through, and just gets stuck.
Witness the rise of Sparta!
Tries to form up, gets stuck, stops moving.
All troops!
What are you gonna do? What you do is just countercharge right on top of the enemy. Will it work? Sometimes. The damage is good. It's not amazing. It's not adequate enough to like make up for the shortcoming. Not to mention, it takes so long in order to trigger the to get out of it. Oh, another thing.
All troops form up!
God, this is the most irritating thing about like
Form up!
why sometimes I need to write stuff
Sparta
down.
is invincible!
But my goodness, you try to cancel with attack. They do not do the final thrust attack. I try to cancel out of the charge counter. You'd think they'd do the final thrust attack. No, absolutely not. They're just like, no, let's not do that.
Stand to!
Oh,
Raise shields!
also that bug. I call it a bug, but
All troops
maybe it's a feature.
Advance! Attack!
Fight and
But if I don't
conquer!
do anything, if I don't press anything for a little bit, I won't lose rage. Which is hilarious, honestly. Hilarious.
Quickly now!
With the king!
Oh, that only
Rolling
happens
forward.
once.
Keep
I don't know.
moving.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Stand to!
Shields up!
Attack at will!
Should you abuse that? No, please don't abuse that. Try to use the unit as they're intended. Don't try to make things
Attack!
work
Enemies
when
will
they
quake
shouldn't.
in fear.
Attack!
Witness the rise of Sparta!
Or maybe it's because I was killing stuff.
Fight and conquer!
Nah. It was because I was killing
All
stuff.
troops form up! Quickly now!
Never mind. Don't worry about it.
Form up!
It's not even a bug. It's not even a bug. I thought it was a bug, but actually, you know what? It's probably because I was killing the stalwarts. It was probably because I was killing the
All
stalwarts.
troops
It
form
would
up.
hit the bar away from me, and I didn't realize that I was gaining stuff. Oh, and final
Falling.
note again. I started off with a update, and I will end this with a quick update. Ugh, God, these
The
guys are so
javelin
cheap.
finds its mark.
The
Bad.
unit
All
is
will
retreating.
Secure this position! Fix yourselves up!
How strong are these? Whoa!
Brace
Another update.
yourselves!
Get in formation. Prepare.
Interesting
How about
formations
them?
here. And as you can see, they've kind of changed the
Secure this position!
kind of
formation.
changed the
Get in
thing for that
formation.
one.
Prepare javelins.
Brace
Hold
yourselves!
formation. Ready
Fix
to throw.
yourselves up!
Now I think it's
Brace
around here.
yourselves!
Let's stop running. You want to actually kind of be stationary. You actually
Leave them
start crossing
alive.
a lot of distance when you do this.
Witness Pyrrhus' might.
Put your backs
Go!
into it!
Yeah!
Follow me!
Moving forward. Moving forward.
Oh, what the hell? Dang it. Anyway, as you can see, these guys will kind of
How about
wreck.
them?
Divine javelin. Ready to throw. Heracles. Yes.
For glory!
Yeah!
I missed.
Be ready to throw!
Death from the sky. Face death.
Secure this
Hey!
position!
Form up.
Brace
Javelins ready.
yourselves!
These guys will.
Fix yourselves
These
up.
will now destroy
Orders
shields.
How about them?
They
Yes.
will.
Fix yourselves up!
deal damage,
Give them death.
and I mean adequate damage to shield units.
Ready, javelins?
Blessed javelins. Enemies will fall before us.
Secure this position.
Form up.
Because just from the +1,
Get
the
going.
block rate got doubled,
Move
70% damage increase. I mean, even if it does less damage, it's still
Fix yourselves up.
it was still dealing like base 8,000
Have at
damage.
them.
With a block rate target, you're gonna do 16,000 damage at the very
Secure this
least. You get
position.
headshots with this, they'll
Have
hit
at them.
32,000 damage. I
Fix
am
yourselves up.
Get in
confident
formation.
that
Prepare javelins. Understood.
Ready,
If-
javelins?
you see whole units dying to this unit,
For glory.
it's absolutely not a surprise.
Brace yourselves.
Get in formation.
Hurry up.
Formation.
Have at them.
Advancing. Advancing.
Secure this position.
Ready to throw.
Fix yourselves
So
up.
elevations will always screw over this unit, so you kind of want a flat surface.
For
There's
valor!
nothing,
Javelins.
nothing new about that one.
Put your backs into it.
Smite my foes.
So these guys are adequate.
Bang!
The Spartan Chosen are adequate. They're not meta.
Secure
They
this
will never be
position.
meta.
After me.
They're gimmicky, and they'll be cool for a little bit. The balance of this game is, and I'm kind of just went into a depressing spiral here. The balance of this game is just no good. No good at all. Paladins have really shown that they're not balanced at all. They're beyond great. Like, OP? There is precedent? It's just... They're weirdly like Phalanx. Phalanx is OP only because against cavalry, they just destroy them. Similarly, Paladins basically destroy all of the meta stuff, but they're not so good against the meta stuff that it just feels wrong. The heal, though, it's really, for me, I find the break point is the heal. While they're healing, they're almost impossible to kill. That bleed damage is disgusting because no matter what hits them, as long as it's melee, it'll take damage. So there are definitely some units that do not want to fight paladins ever because of that bleed. And they do adequate damage. And it's not a small amount of damage at all. 3,500 damage with their basic attack, 2,000 damage, two targets with their basic attack, 4 targets with their shield bash for 2,000 damage. So I think that for what it's worth, how I would change the Spartan Chosen.
Spartans fear no war.
This loyalty oath thing. Make it always on. Or while in formation, or using skill. While in formation, this would be amazing. Absolutely bonkers. Ruthless. Get rid of the formation bullshit. Get rid of it. There are 2 ways that I would change this skill. The charge counter, make it stationary. Don't have them move forward. Just do the shield bash. Doesn't matter if it's in the air or not. Shield bash in the air. Bam, 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 bam. And let them finally leap. Let them counter charge with the leap smack. High damage. Also, get rid of the additional buttons. There's no point in using the additional buttons because it's just a way to make sure that the player does not do anything while they're trying to control the unit. You're trying to make the unit more interesting by making the player have more input into the unit when they need to have less input into the unit and allow the unit to do their thing. Hey, you might say, oh, it's like a cool minigame. Yeah, it's a minigame where you're supposed to be fighting. A lot of people, a lot of heroes will just straight up die on the front line. I get that. Doesn't mean you don't try. Doesn't mean there aren't heroes that can fight on the front line. Oh, so what do you want? People that can't fight on the front line to not interact with anything? Do something else then. Plenty of classes have poke skills. Plenty of classes can play around, defend, kind of thing. Multitask instead of focusing just on your unit. You can still gawk at them. You don't need to spam a button. And I mean spam, because the minigame's not exactly hard. You just hit the button when it becomes available. So what am I doing? I see that shield? Bam, 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 bam. I'm just tapping it. Constantly. Oh, maybe there's a rhythm to it. There is a rhythm to it. I don't care. I honestly don't care. I just want to hit the button, get that 50% damage increase when they're going to do the leap. And I'll be honest, that leap is completely unreliable because of how long it takes to get to it, but it feels amazing when it hits something because it's 6,000 damage. Not sure if it's multi-hit, but it deals 6,000 damage. The other way I would change this is to have split. The other way I would change this, so not only would I get rid of that bar, get rid of that like minigame kind of thing, I would split. I would split it to. I would split it with the advance part and the leap part. The actual leap itself, I think, should have the rage system, but to activate it, honestly, I think you should be able to activate it at no rage. That way, it's a quick engage, and it should have a fairly-ish long cooldown. I mean, you could balance it however you want with the cooldown. Just for me, there's the two ways I would change how charge counter work to make it better. Either make it stationary, split it so that split it so you have the leap part which is really cool, and the advanced part which is separate. So the bad thing is, well, you have 3 attack skills. You got the ruthless attack skill, you got the charge counter thing, and then you got the leap strike. So it's like there's a redundancy here that you could easily get rid of. You could get rid of 2 of them, as one of them will definitely get preferred. But you can lock away one of them and have the other one be different. So again, you have the charge counter one, which is just like advancing forward, and then you have the ruthless, which is again a mini charge thing. Though I must say, this thing has a terribly tiny tracking. It's you have to be basically right in front of the enemy if you want them to target at all. Against cavalry, these guys are also trash. But anyway, I think I've talked enough about these guys. I hope you guys liked what you see, or you share the same sentiment as me. But do voice your opinions and tell the developers what you expected. This is a tier... Do mind, this is a tower shield unit. This is a tier 5 tower shield unit. We haven't had one since Shield Maidens. And I'm more of a defense kind of player. I love formations. This unit, I mean, forbid me from saying this, but this unit should have been all about formation. And it's not. It has really cool shield formation, disperse formation. Even Shieldtron looks amazing. It's not about formations though. How you play this unit is straight up a shock trooper. You go in, you smack the enemy, you push, you push, you push. You're not holding, you're not defending, you're not waiting for the enemy, which is sad. Phalanx, you can do both. You wait for the enemy, you can push into the enemy. At the end of the day, however the developers design units, I can't exactly stop them. They're going to make units. I'm not going to like them. And I haven't liked a lot of units. The Swine Feathers as well. There are. I mean, I concentrate on things I don't like too much, but there are some things that I do like. They're cool. They're mechanically like. There are interesting attacks that. There are interesting things about the unit. They're powerful basic attacks. Like as a benchmark, like paladins, these guys, banner guards, all three of these units have some of the best basic attacks or attack modes in the game. Varangian guards as well, amazing in attack mode. More units need to be like this, except the collision part. I really do not like the fact that they ignore collision. But yeah, so I hope you guys tell the developers what you want, what you expected, and hopefully they change something. Or don't. I am in a very depressed mood since testing all of these units, and I'll call it a day. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, but other than that, my name's Azukai. Have a nice day. Bye now.